Oh my god, I am so excited. I can't honestly put into words on how excited I am to have this conversation with you about this episode of ZooTalk. And this is huge, guys. And if you watched my previous video of ZooTalk episode 0, you would understand why I feel this way. Marco and Fairy gave us so many spoilers, and we were able to nail it with our predictions. I did it, I called it, and you better be ready for this video. Grab your wake-up coffee, get in your seats, because you all been harassing me for more details, and I'm more than happy to oblige.
Now, before we begin, let's talk about today's agenda. We mentioned it already, and we are creating basically a new way to progress in game. This is the character progression system. It's a new way to level up, like I mentioned, and in this episode we'll go in depth and explain what does this mean for basically the matchmaking, because that's gonna change a little bit, and when are we finally getting this feature in game. Next is our 2021 roadmap. So this year we're gonna be fully transparent, and we're gonna basically tell you everything that is coming to the zoo during this year. So stay tuned, that's quite exciting. And then we have some big news about our upcoming character. So yeah, stay tuned until the end if you wanna know how's the new character gonna look like. And yeah, Ferry?
And there you go.
Character progression system. What is the character progression system, you may ask? Well, this is what Marco was hinting us in the previous ZooTalk. Remember when the madman was preaching for a tanky Nyx? It didn't make any sense until now. Let me put it in terms that most likely will just leave you even more confused than a second ago. Everything you know about Zuba to this day may end up becoming meaningless when this update goes live. Okay, Div, seriously, just tell us already. What is this character progression about?
All right, Hugo, let's get down to business. First, I'd like to know, why are we changing the way characters progress?
So our current system is pretty good. We're quite happy with it, but it's also fairly limited. We feel like what you have basically is just an option to level up characters. So you have one vertical progression, and that's it. What we would like is provide our players a bit more option into gameplay and the option they can level up the characters. So let's say if you are more into movement speed than you are into knockback, you can customize that on your favorite character. So it gives quite a bit more way to play. And so we hope the players just have more fun overall by playing Zuba, by getting more options into the gameplay.
To break it down in a sentence, the new character progression system gives us the ability to customize our characters. How can we customize them? Well, according to Hugo, we are hinted all attributes are on the table. You could, for instance, make a Louis into Speedy Gonzalez if you wanted to. Just tag points into Speed, Wake Up Coffee, Jungle Shoes, and Holy Sandals, and boom, there you go. It would be crazy, but wait, there is more. You could complain all day, every day how pathetic Donna is, but guess what? You could just stack swim speed on her. And while it probably won't change how terrible she is, there is still a small chance your opponents will die laughing. But the point is simple. You, the Zoopster, will decide the fate of your characters. They will be unique, and you will be able to further explore what playstyle fits you best. Because the meta will change, we will have to theory craft every little detail for all the possible attributes Zuba lets us spec into. And I will be there with you every step of the way, so make sure you like, sub, and join to keep this content coming.
And I think that's awesome. I'm very excited for this new system. But I have one question that I think a lot of players must be thinking right now is, what will happen with all the progress, all the work we put into our characters up until now? All the levels and everything, are we gonna lose everything? Do we have to start over?
Great question, Fairy. So what does happen to all of our progress, Hugo? It does appear that the level system is changing.
I understand your concern. No, fear not. Everything would be conserved. We will be converted, or if I were to use the right word. So we're gonna take all your progress in the old system and make sure it applies to the new system. So worry not, every hour, every minute you spend until leveling your character will be conserved. You will just have more options with the new updates. So basically you start from the same level, you just can do more stuff with them. So that's pretty cool.
Great.
Okay, look, I like it. Everything that we have done to build our accounts thus so far will simply be converted to this new system. 100% transfer. It gives me faith that this new system is already on to a good start. However, this does inspire me to ask another question.
Awesome.
And when we talk about character levels, their power level, and everything becoming stronger, the first thing that comes to mind is matchmaking. So my question is this new system going to affect matchmaking anyway?
Fairy. Did you slip something you weren't supposed to? Let's slow-mo Fairy to when he drops the big hint and the immediate chuckle to follow. Keynote, everything becoming stronger. Fairy, answer me now. Are we getting an increase to the level cap?
Point would be the difference between each level. So let's say right now the gap between a level 12 and level 15 is pretty huge. And I'm not even talking about like 5, 6, 7 level difference. This is insane. But right now what we want to do is reduce this gap. There will still be a gap, so people who did spend money on time on level up their character will still have this advantage, because we don't want to lose that. It's part of the Zubas philosophy. But we want player to still have some fun if there's some level differences. So there will be a level difference, but the gap will be a bit more narrow. And we hope through that overall everybody will have some fun. The high level, the low level, everybody. That's the idea.
Based on how Hugo reported, I strongly feel that we will see an increase in the level cap. Think about it. Wouldn't a new leveling system be a perfect segue for Zuba to solve their gold sync problem? For those of you who don't know what a gold sync is, it is a means to use a hoarded resource. In our case, well, my case and many veteran players out there, it is gold. I personally have more than 4.6 million gold and 8,000 gems just sitting. I have nothing to spend it on unless they release a new hero or a new item. Wink, wink. So how could they go about doing this? It actually appears they wouldn't really have to do much at all. Based on what Hugo mentions, they're planning on reducing the gap of power between each level. Since the product manager has access to all the numbers and understands how the current state of power affects the game, we can imagine that his idea is to squeeze the gap by increasing the amount of total levels, but reducing the overall power for each level. Here is an example of how that squeeze could work. Big brain time. In my example, you can see how they can hit two birds with one stone. By reducing the percentage of power gained per level and by increasing the total amount of levels, we can get to the same point in terms of power. This is a solid move, as it doesn't by any means change the balance of the game in terms of raw power. It provides us a way to spend more resources, and at the same time, the gap between each level is reduced. As Hugo says, higher levels will still have an advantage, but that advantage isn't astronomical to overcome. Now, you might be thinking that this is an incredible setback in terms of power for your Zuba account. You might try to make the argument that you're going to be spending time to eventually earn the same power you already have. But no, that is actually not the case, and here is how. Attribute points. So this is something I mentioned in the video earlier, but Hugo gives more insight on the possible attributes. So for possible attributes, we got cooldowns, projectile speed, knockback, character speed. There are probably more in the list. On top of my head, I can think of knockback reduction, range or radius of an attack, and possible swim speed, because why not? You see, as you level up your hero, it is implied that you will earn attribute points. That means the equivalent max level character in 2020 versus 2021, though they may be the same raw power. The 2021 character is stronger due to the addition of attribute points. That is the key, Zuba fam. So what is the character progression system in a nutshell? It brings balance to the game by reducing the power gap between lower levels and higher levels. We most likely are going to see an increase in the level cap, which indirectly supports the gold sync to keep us motivated to play the game, and we are getting the ability to make our characters our own through customization. These attribute points, we can explore new ways to play Zuba and theory craft new builds. That does sound really exciting, at least to me. So what do I got to say about it? I love the new system. I'm really excited to see it implemented. And why am I talking about this only now? When are we getting this update anyway?
This brings me to the last question for this subject. When it's coming?
So we are working currently really hard on it. We are planning to have it out by the end of March. So there might be some delay because it's a big feature. So, it's hard to push it out, and we really want it to be top quality when it goes out. We don't want to be buggy and people to be more annoyed than happy. So we are working really hard on it, and yeah, it should be by the end of March. So stay tuned.
No. I suppose we just have to be patient with it, but the problem is there might even be a delay. Ugh. Okay, guys, you know what? I can tell that they're working very hard, and I hope that our Zuba community shows them the support that they need to keep bringing us this awesome content. Make sure to cheer them on, that way they feel inspired and motivated to bring us the best that they have to offer, because we deserve that from them. So let's do our part, and I promise they will do their part.
Now for the next topic, let's talk about our roadmap for 2021. Ferry, can you tell us more about what's coming this year? Can you guide us through this roadmap that we have here?
Definitely, Marco. Okay, as you can see, this is our roadmap for 2021, Zoopsters. And we have a lot of great content ahead of us. This quarter, we are focusing on the character progression revamp and the Primal Instinct feature, which we didn't talk about yet, but I think Hugo can share a few details about this new feature.
So we don't want to give too much information about it because we really want to surprise you guys about it. But in my opinion, this is the coolest part of this new feature we're working on. And there will be unique skills for each character. So I don't want to say more, but let's say you're gonna have it's not a new weapon, it's even better than that. Basically, for your favorite character, you will have one new way to play it. So yeah, I'm super excited about it, and I think you guys will love it.
Okay, Zuba fam, I think we all see what is happening here. For all your characters, you will have one new way to play it? Unique skills for each character. Okay, wow. This is big. This update is seriously mind-boggling. At the moment, we only have one true skill in Zuba, and that is the active. So while I'm not 100% sure which direction they are taking Primal Instinct, it does make me wonder if it will be the same pathway of the character progression update where the keynote focused on customization. Will we have 2 active abilities to choose from for each character? Maybe. Will we set skills which are independent of the active? Maybe. Is this related to our passives? Not sure, but possibly, because it is called Primal Instinct, and an instinct is something that is more or less performed passively. So before I let you go, the rest of the roadmap covers character level balance, which is something we already talked about. I'm pretty sure that mystery is unraveled. They will continue to work on the character acquisition update, event revamps, and new game modes. They don't dwell too much into these topics, but I will keep you up to date as more evidence for future plans is made aware to me. With that being said, for more information and the latest up-to-date Zuba news, livestream, and Zuba theory crafting guides, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and make sure your notifications are turned on. But most importantly, have a wonderful day, Zuba fam.